Okay, then we have a couple of obstacles that we can talk about it. Now we talked about this complete active capacity, right? Okay, now this is a connection. There is a connection between this to the next. What is it? We talked about the last person was, who was it? Complete active capacity. The the example for him, who was it? Complete adult. All right. Okay. Now he is a complete adult. He's matured. He's adult. He's an adult. But is there anything can stop him to do business? Okay, there are a couple of things can stop him to do business, even though he is adult. All right, even though even though he is adult, even though he is a minor, he can also do business together with his guardian. So whatever the capacities that we discussed earlier, we know that who can do what he can do, what he cannot do. But now we are going to talk about additional obstacles that can stop someone to do business, to do transaction. What are they? Okay, number one, this is what some factors that may prevent a person from dealing with his own property. The factors disqualify a person from concluding a contract. It could be beyond his power. So obstacles means what? A situation where a person is restrained from dealing with his property. Number one, he become insane. If he's a junoon, insanity, mental capacity is affected, then everything that he do is invalid. That's because we have to safeguard him. Remember, as a Sharia follower, you and me, I cannot do transaction with him, because if I do transaction with him, definitely he won't understand, because he's a junoon. Huh? He's a insanity. He's insane. He's insane. So not insan, yeah. Of course he's insan. This is insane. Someone is become junoon. So 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 this is where actually we have issues like, he's becoming insane, and then he will not be able to think straight. So that's the reason why. um, but there are some cases, sometimes some people, they become insane, but not all the time they are insane. Sometimes they are good. Have you seen it? Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are not. Sometimes they mentally affected, sometimes they look fine. All right. Okay, so okay, the second one is actually idiocy. Someone is idiot, we call it, sometimes people call idiot. So this is what he is actually inconsistent in his decision and behavior. Sometimes he do this, sometimes he doesn't do that. So meaning to say that there's a problem in understanding, right? Which may change from time to time. His status is like a status of child. He become like child, so which means that he has to do only with the permission of guardian. All right, he can perform contracts which are in his interest, without seeking permission. He could enter into any contract that are harmful. He may enter into any contract that fall between these two extreme with the permission of his guardian. Right? And then we have sleeping. When someone's sleeping, you should not do. You must be asking, sir, what happened? How can you say that? Can I do business when someone's sleeping? you know, it's possible, if you go 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. morning, you go to 7-Eleven or, KK store or 99. Maybe if a person is sleeping, please don't do business with him, because he might be telling you the wrong price, right? Either it affect you or it affect him. All right. Then unconscious. If someone is unconscious, meaning to say that, he is not sleeping, but he is unconscious because of some medicine. So don't use that time. Sometimes, people see, okay, he's unconscious, let me go and do some deal with him, which is not actually good, which is actually prohibited. All right. Okay. Then you have intoxication. Similar, but unconscious, but similar. This is something someone is actually taking, drinking alcohol. But here is the difference. The difference is whether he do voluntarily or involuntarily. You may be thinking how it is involunteer. Yeah, sometimes he drank, but he doesn't know it is alcohol. All right. So sometimes someone made him drink, maybe force him to drink, that kind of thing. This is actually which is actually haram, but he doesn't know that he is drinking alcohol. This is what we call involuntarily, beyond one control. So now here, what happened is voluntarily drinking, what happened involuntarily drinking. There's a couple of ideas, very interesting idea. There are two views according to Malik and Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim, that all contracts entered is by person is not valid. Reason because it's intoxication. The other majority scholars, you see what they say. The majority scholars, they say if it is involuntarily, which is actually not most of the cases, very, very few cases only you will see that involuntary. Because maybe he's a very good person, suddenly he looks like a drunk. Maybe it's because not because of him, because of somebody. So you cannot do any transaction with him. But however, this is the most important part. According to majority scholar, if someone willingly, voluntarily drinking, and then he came into contract, okay, anyone can go and can do what do you call it? Wait. Okay, if intoxication is caused willfully or voluntarily, the contract entered into are valid. The reason this could serve as a sort of punishment to a person who voluntarily weaken his rational power. The question is, who asked you to drink? You drink, right? You voluntarily drink, so you pay the price. Okay, so it's a kind of punishment for him, because that's the reason why most of the people they have this issue of drinking. They lose everything. They do gambling. They drink first and then they do gambling. They lose everything. They lose all their money, their car, their properties, everything, and then they come into the road. That's because voluntarily drinking. All right. Then we have a prodigality issue. Prodigality is actually sufha, we call it. Who is sufha? Someone who cannot keep his wallet close. His wallet is always open. We need to say that, he spent a lot, he wastes a lot. Of course, you will see, you call him spoiled kid. Maybe among every batch, there are some spoiled kids, spoiled people. They always, improperly selling, improperly spending, easily deceived, or maybe we can say like, shopaholic. The them shopaholic. Oh, you saw something, oh Chante, nice, very good, let's go and buy. That kind of person always see something comes in the market, immediately go and buy. This is what we call sufaha. All right. The other one is rushd. Rushd is actually someone who's good, always think properly. It's called Rashid. Okay. You have Safi, and then the other side you have Rashid. Who is Rashid? Okay. Well, we hope every one of us are Rashid, huh? Because we understand properly and then we spend properly. The other side is actually Safi. Safi is the one who we are not able to manage. All right. So okay. Now this kind of Safi must be stopped, because he is doing injustice to his wealth. Maybe he's a millionaire or billionaire, but this kind of Safi must be stopped by the court. uh, of course, if there's a father, we'll stop him. But if there's no father, for example, the grandfather will become the guardian or the uncle become the guardian, but he has to. And the court has the power to ascertain that certain person as a Safia. And once person is declared as a Safia by court, the judge will become his guardian. You see, the judge will become the guardian. The father or the grandfather of a spendthrift. This is what we call spendthrift. Spendthrift means what? Like shopaholic, like Safi, spendthrift. The father or the grandfather of a spendthrift person has no right of guardianship over him. Tell me why. Why the father or the grandfather cannot become the guardian? Only judge can become the guardian. Tell me why. Anybody?
He may be biased.
Any other answer? Because they are the reason why he became Safih. Because they let him become Safih. If they have controlled, if the father controlled the son, then why he becomes Safih? You got what I mean? You got what I mean? Because today you see a child is becoming safi actually. You know, the child is asking everything. I want this toy. I want this car. I want this dress. This and that. If you don't buy, if you don't give it, maybe you have seen some siblings of yours, a small one. You may be saying that, oh, he is doing too much. You know, because that's because the father and grandfather, they were the reason why he became the safi. Then, how come judge can believe father or the grandfather? That's why the judge has become the guardian. Any commercial transaction made by Safeh could not be executed unless the judge is satisfied that the transaction is in his favor and approves it. Then you have two types of sufha. All right, one is actually he's a Safih, but okay, those who have become adult but still Safih. You know, there are child Safih, there are adult Safih. Okay, you got what I mean? Someone as a child, you know, become like a spendthrift, always spending a lot, but someone even become adult, mature again. So according to Imam Abu Hanifa, after a Safih reaches the age of 25, his property should be written away, because after 25 it is your property, you do whatever it is. Reason, because when a person reaches this age he would attain maturity of mind. You know, there's a maturity of the body and there is a maturity of mind. So according to Abu Hanifa, 25 is actually maturity of mind, so must be given back to him. So after that he will be able to keep his property safe. According to the majority, the prevention may continue until such an age at which a person may attain maturity of mind. They didn't say that 25, it could be anything. Somebody even say 40, all right, even 40 years old. Are you saying that I'm not mature? Okay. Okay, even 40 years old also. Someone after 40 will become mature. Those who after attaining maturity of mind becomes happy. Okay, if someone who already adult and already mature, you know, for example, this is the example of, you know, the billionaires today, the millionaires today, even some YouTubers that you have seen, that the crazy, they are spending like crazy people. I won't even say no prevention could be imposed on such persons. If they are more than 25, more than 40, still they are safi. They have to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala why they are spending like this. But the majority, the Abu Hanifa says that there is no prevention could be imposed on such person. But according to the majority scholar, they say, even including Imam Abu Yusuf, Imam Muhammad Shaybani, who is actually, who were the students of Imam Abu Hanifa, they say he may still be declared Safi even if he has attained maturity of mind, if it is proven that he misappropriates his property or spends in it ways that are unlawful and improper. Remember, according to the majority scholar, if there's a Muslim who actually 40 or 50, doesn't matter, he is becoming Safi, he is spending a lot, he must be stopped. He must be stopped by the Sharia. He cannot spend like that because he has to save his money so that he can save money for everybody. All right, so that kind of this is the fiqh perspective of Safi. All right, okay. Then we have insolvency or bankruptcy. So this is something very simple. If you are bankrupt, you got the loan and you were not able to pay. Now the bank, if you are declared that you are the bankrupt or insolvent, then that bank will come and take your money and they will convert all your property into liquid. Then they will settle the creditors. All right, this is what going to happen. So now the question is, which property should be start, whether immovable or movable. So they say they have to start from the movable asset. While they are doing this, that bankruptcy person cannot deal with any sale. He cannot, because why? He cannot buy, he cannot sell anything. Because why? Because he is already bankrupt. Then they say that whatever he has to settle to the creditors. Now he cannot enter into transaction that would reduce his asset. You got me? For example, he cannot create waqaf. He cannot make a gift to somebody. He cannot sell his property to a lower price. You know, these are the things he cannot do because he's a bankrupt. Because whatever he has to settle So the bank will settle to the creditors. The judge will settle to the creditors. That's why he called bankrupt. But there's another view of Imam Abu Hanifa. He says that if he wants to do business, he actually can do business in order to increase his wealth. He must be given time because he is not lunatic, he is not a minor, he is not unconscious, he is not insane because he's, the person who is a bankrupt, once he was a logical person. The person who become bankrupt, he was a, most of the time they are the intellectual people. you know they have lots and lots of ideas, but unfortunately it didn't work out. That's why they become bankrupt. But they are not insane, they are not lunatic, they are not actually unconscious. So that's the reason why Imam Abu Hanifa says, he must be given a chance to do his business so that he can actually return the wealth, he can increase wealth, and then he can pay. So you must give some time to him. According to Abu Hanifa, the debtor should not be restrained from disposing his asset, even if his debts are equal or more than his asset. Reason: the debtor has a full rational capacity and does not suffer from any impediment that would prevent him from dealing with his wealth. According to him, imposing restraints on a debtor would go contrary to human dignity. See, he talks about human dignity. So don't just uh, do not do not disrespect the bankrupt, because a person become bankrupt because of, unfortunately, because of some reason, not because of his insanity. And he was right. So it would go contrary to human dignity and would deprive him of his right over his wealth. Solution: what is the solution? The debtor should be ordered by a court to settle his debts, failing which he could be forced. There must be time must be given, conditions must be made. He has to go together with it. But the majority scholars, they say it's differently. The majority scholars, other than Imam Abu Hanifa, they argue that on the application of the creditor, a judge may declare a debtor as an insolvent, I mean bankrupt, sell his asset and settle his debt. According to majority scholar, they say he has to settle his debt first. If there is something remaining, he can do his business. But according to Imam Abu Hanifa, he says that he must be given chance. All right. I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. The last one is number 8, mortal illness. It's called Marad al Maut. If someone is about to die, all right, he got cancer. We don't know when he will die, but this is about someone is for sure he's dying. He has a cancer, or he has a he has something that definitely a disease get worse, fear of death, for example, or become sentenced to death. All right. So this kind of person can make certain contracts. He can do wakaf, he can do charity, make gift of his property to some of his heirs and non-heirs. All right. Some of his disposition or arrangements may cause injustice to his legal heirs and the creditors. In order to protect the interests of his legal heirs and creditors, in applying the rule of wasiya, Islamic law has limited to only to one third. Remember, any person who is going to die, he cannot give his entire wealth, entire property to someone or to some institute or to madrasa or whatever. He can only do one third if he is willing to do. The two-third will go to his entire people who belong. It belongs to the inheritance. Remember, for example, a person who suffers from mortal sickness may give a part of his wealth as a gift to one of his heirs. Let's say you have three daughters. A person may can give as a gift to someone one third of his property as a gift to one of his daughter, but the others must agree. If other daughters or son, if they did not agree, then this gift is not valid. But however, the other side, look at the other side. Someone who is not a heir, who is not a children, who is not a daughter, who is not a son. This dying person gave him something. He doesn't need any approval of his heir. Uh, a gift to a non-heir is valid and does not need the approval of the heirs, provided the gift should not exceed one third of the asset. So this one, Let me make it clear once again. There is a dying father, and he wants to give one third of his will, of his property, to his one of his daughter who is taking care of him, who is taking care of him. Because not everybody will take care, right? Okay. She cannot get that one third from the father unless the other siblings approve it. Remember, whatever you take care of your father, it's not for the property, it's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will get your property, you will get you will get your reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other sibling who didn't take care of your father, they will get the punishment because of that. Remember this. So this is not about world, this is about akhirah. But if the father wants to give it to somebody other than the brothers and sisters, all right, someone, for example, it could be a friend, it could be even, housemate, who knows. Let's say no siblings came, no children came to take care of the father. Suddenly only there was a housemaid, she was taking care of him. He can give one third of his property. It's scary, right? It's really scary. He can give one third of his property to the housemaid. The housemaid doesn't need any approval from others. So that's all. All right. So that's all from me. This one I will give you the next week, inshallah. And this is your attendance. Please do your attendance, and the floor is open if you have any questions.